Big news yesterday from the Federal Reserve, the long-awaited rollout of the FedNow payment system. But what does that mean for silver and gold platinum investors? We're going to talk about that in this video. A lot of people are scared. Is this a CBDC? I think there's a little error in that thought pattern. We're going to talk about that, but it's so important that we realize what could be going on when it comes to CBDC potential rollout and how that'll affect your price of your silver and your gold, right? Because, hey, let's be real. That's what we really care about. We love silver. We love gold. I love the fact that you've joined me here today. I will put out a new piece of content every single day for the rest of my life, so I want you to subscribe. Give this a thumbs up. And super chats are always greatly appreciated. I work with limited, very selective sponsorship arrangements. Basically, I'm a viewer-supported channel, so I appreciate you being here with me right now in the basement. Let's talk about FedNow. It's critical you get up to speed right now on this program if you don't know what's going on, because it will impact the precious metals. Maybe not today, right? Maybe not tomorrow, but in the long term. So on June 20th, the Federal Reserve and our great friend Jerome Powell, right, who we know and we trust, they rolled out this big FedNow program. And there's all kinds of articles. Here, I have one from the Associated Press. It says, your paycheck could clear faster now that the FedNow instant payment service for banks has launched. I've got an article here from Yahoo Finance, right? It says, hey, look at all these benefits you're going to have with this new program from your good friend Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. It says the system lets Americans pay for groceries. Wow, instantly. You can now pay for groceries instantly. Couldn't you do that just yesterday or the day before with cash as well? Well, now, anyway, we'll talk about that later. Businesses can pay their suppliers, or people can pay each other with this new instant payment system from the Fed. It will be available 24 hours a day, every day of the year, with full access to funds immediately. We're going to dig into this, guys. It gets a little potentially scary. Let me read to you how it works. Do you want to know how it works? Here's how it works. FedNow offers instant payment services for banks and credit unions to transfer money for their customers. Unlike other private money transferring services like PayPal or Venmo, suddenly PayPal and Venmo are getting trashed, which I find very interesting. FedNow services are not offered to customers directly through a third-party app or website. The services will only be available through a bank or credit union. However, once banks have adopted FedNow, they're expected to make it available on their websites and apps. Look, here's what I see going on. Centralized control, more centralized control of the money system. Are you feeling that as well? But what I think is possibly going on as well is the groundwork being laid for a future CBDC. That's the scary part, right? And how are gold and silver going to react in that environment? We're going to talk about that later, but is the groundwork being laid? Let me paint an analogy for you. Let's say you're hanging out in your basement today and you hear some ruckus outside. You walk upstairs, you look out, there's like 5 big trucks and a backhoe from the water company. They're digging in your yard. You go out and you say, hey guys, what are you doing? And they said, oh, we're laying a new infrastructure, new pipe in the ground, new water pipes. And you say, well, wait a minute. I'm not connected to the city water system. I have my own well. Now, I want you to think about yourself as a silver and gold investor, because this is a great analogy, right? You don't want to be connected to the city water system. You don't want to be as connected to the traditional banking system as everybody else. You've dug your own well. You are your own central bank. But nonetheless, because the water company has eminent domain, right? They can dig up your yard and lay that pipe. And the guy from the water company says, well, that's no problem. You don't have to connect to our water system. Everything's fine. We're just laying this new pipe, just putting it here. The fear then would be at some point in the future, they come back and say, you know what? It's illegal to have your own well. Actually, where I live here in St. Louis, I think in the county where I live, it's like illegal for me to drill a water well. I have to be connected to the city water system. And that's the big fear, that's what the Fed is doing. They're laying this infrastructure. It's an instant payment system. It's so great. Have you noticed that? All the press about this FedNow, it's awesome. It's going to be instant. It's going to be run by the Fed. It's going to be centrally controlled. Don't worry about it. It's big benefits for you. There's huge, huge benefits, right? It's like anytime they switch over to some new, it's always this great deal, this great, great deal. But here's what could happen. All right, if we get into, just by chance, do you think there's any chance that we're going to run into any more crisis situations? We haven't had any financial crisis in the United States or in the world over the last number of years, have we? Right? We just had a little banking problem about, 9-10 weeks ago? We won't talk about that. What about the great financial crisis? We won't talk about that. What about when the tech bubble burst? What about the little health scare we had 3 years ago where they printed 40% of the dollars that are in existence today and distributed money to all the people? No. But just if we did, just in case, just possibly, we have some other crisis that comes up, like maybe a financial crisis because the U.S. government can't pay their debt. Maybe some kind of big debt. Maybe because more than half of the world with the BRICS nations are moving away from the United States. Maybe, just maybe, if there was another crisis that came up and they scared everybody, right? They put up big red blocks on the CNN news and, everybody's scared. We're in trouble. And they can come in and say, thank God. Thank God we put FedNow in place, because now we've got this new solution, this central bank digital currency. We can feed it to you. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Is that possible? Right? I don't know. I mean, are we at threat of that occurring? And what's the big deal? Who cares if we have CBDC? Well, what it does is it allows the Fed already wants to control the world's money. We know that. And we know, again, the BRICS countries are rebelling against all of this. But the Fed also will then control all of your money. Yes, you, right? Remember, you dug your own well, right? You're your own central bank, right? You're not a person who wants to just lay down and say, okay, well, I'll do whatever you want. I mean, there's so many scary scenarios, and I don't want to be doom and gloom or, the sky is falling. But people are really afraid of what's coming with these CBDCs. Is there reason to be afraid? Why did Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida, right? I think Indiana as well. Why are states, why are political leaders coming out and saying, I think DeSantis said that if he becomes president, there will be no CBDC. I think Florida passed laws that they can't force their citizens. I mean, is this legit? If it wasn't a legitimate fear, then why wouldn't we have certain politicians coming out and being vocal and laws being passed against it, right? The Fed wants to control your money. The Fed wants to control my money. And think about this. Okay? The Federal Reserve is not part of our government. Remember that. The federal and Federal Reserve is no more federal than the Federal in Federal Express. That is a fact. It's a privately owned bank. That's a fact, right? The founding fathers of our country were kind of against central banks. Andrew Jackson himself warned of the major risks and dangers in central banks. So, the fact that we aren't real keen on them controlling every little thing we do we trust these politicians? Do we want them to be able to control exactly what we buy and how we use our money? Do we want them to know every little financial transaction which occurs. Look, I don't do anything illegal, but I don't really want the government telling me that I can't have a T-bone steak, but I can buy this, artificially made meat out of worms or whatever they're talking about doing now. It's really getting crazy. I was talking to Pat Holland yesterday, and he's like telling me that, oh yeah, right by your house, they're building a mealworm meat manufacturing plant. And I about barfed when I heard that, How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? I don't know, man. It is absolutely crazy. How about silver and gold? How about silver and gold? How are they gonna exist in this new paradigm of potential? And I want to emphasize that, guys. This FedNow is not a CBDC. Anyone who's telling you that FedNow is a CBDC, I believe does not know what they're talking about. Does it potentially lay the framework? Is it the infrastructure for CBDC? Yeah, it very well could be. That does make my little antennas perk up, right? It makes, since it's the infrastructure, it makes plugging a CBDC into it very easy, right? Without that electronic, it kind of explains. Let's read a little more because it when they explain it and what it does, it kind of sounds a little bit like a CBDC, although it's not officially a CBDC. Here's what our friend Jerome Powell had to say about it. He said, the Federal Reserve built the FedNow service to help make everyday payments over the coming years faster and more convenient. Doesn't that sound like steering the boat in the direction of the CBDC waters? It might. It just might. You decide for yourself. The Fed believes when FedNow is fully available and widely used, individuals like me and you will be able to instantly receive their paychecks. Oh, we can instantly receive our paychecks. Let me just say something. Because that's the other thing they're selling this on is there'll be no need for payday loans. I'm like, BS, okay? You can instantly receive your paycheck. Well, actually, I just got my paycheck last week for my little job I do. I don't need to instantly receive my paycheck. It comes on the same day every month, and it instantly appears on the same day. I'm sorry, every 2 weeks. Right? Friday morning. Actually, I can see it go into my bank account on Thursday night. It instantly appears. So don't try to tell me that FedNow, because I'm going to instantly get paid, right? Now, I've heard people say, are people in the gig economy will get paid faster. Yeah, that's right. Let's not forget, guys, since everything's so great here in the U.S. economy, and you've got to work not one job, but 2 jobs, and then, on Saturday nights you can do a dine dash or whatever the heck. I don't know why people get fast food delivered to their house. I'm going to tell you, if you're spending your money getting fast food delivered to your house, my nephew, I was at their house one day like 2 years ago doing a little work for my sister. Okay, I'm out doing I was helping her out. Anyway, hot as hell. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. And this girl comes walking up with a McDonald's bag, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And she said, "I have a delivery for." I'm gonna call him Buttercup. That's what I like to call my nephew. I'm like, "What?" And he's like 22 years old at the time. I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "He ordered McDonald's. It was like breakfast." I'm like, "What the heck? What's wrong with people? You're getting McDonald's delivered to your house. Hey, look, take that extra $20 and buy 2/3 of an ounce of silver. I mean, come on, man." Anyway, what was I? Oh, I was saying, yeah. So if you got your second job and then on the weekends you deliver Taco Bell and McDonald's to drunk rich kids, right? Oh, you'll get paid for your gig economy work instantly. I mean, what? Come on, right? It feels like what's going to happen is we're going to have some crisis. Right? We're going to have some crisis is going to come up. And again, they're going to scare you. They're going to scare me. They're going to scare everybody. and Jerome or whoever the heck's, maybe Janet Yellen will be back at the Fed again, right? Then Jerome will be Treasury Secretary, whatever. Or Jerome will be working as a consultant for Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan Chase. Anyway, right? They're going to come to the rescue. They're going to make everything okay. What's going to happen to silver and gold? I'm a staunch believer. I want to know what you think on this. You know, I'm a staunch believer that silver and gold will do well during any type of CBDC environment. And look, I have an article, just talked to you guys about this the other day. There's 130 countries working on CBDCs, 98% of the world's population. Is it likely coming? Yes. Should we believe Jerome Powell when he says, oh, we're not, I think they said now they kind of elude that it's on the back burner. Why would we believe Jerome Powell? Why? Why would you? Do you believe Jerome Powell? Do you believe what the Fed tells you? Okay. Do you believe in Santa Claus? That's great. Congratulations, right? Do you believe in the Tooth Fairy? You got the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, and Jerome Powell. That's reality, right? It's all a big joke. Remember, Jerome, 2 years ago, right now, 2.5 years ago, was telling you and me and the market, everybody believe Jerome, because Jerome, right, he tells the truth. Jerome's telling us, I'm not going to raise interest rates till the end of 2023. Not going to raise interest rates. Okay, we know what it's like to hold precious metals over the last year and a half when Jerome supposedly was not going to be raising interest rates. But what happened was the fastest rate of interest rate increases in history. Not record high interest rates, but the fastest rate. Okay, they raised rates, 12 times, 13 times? I mean, but we're going to believe him. Okay, Jerome, we believe you. Everybody out there, shake your head. Okay, Jerome, we believe you. You're not going to give us a CBDC. I don't know, right? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just try to look objectively at the big picture. And when I do, I'm just a little leery. Let's see what the Cleveland Fed President, Loretta Mester. Loretta, what did you have to say about this? She noted that the Fed now will offer the public more flexibility to manage their money and to make time-sensitive payments whenever needed. She said the payment service would help households avoid late fees. How about just paying your bills on time, Loretta? Give me a break when making payments. And there's more. And help individuals who aren't on a regular payroll, such as gig workers, right? Because who needs a full-time job when you can just deliver Taco Bell? Get faster access to their wages. Mester also said the payment service could help the federal government disperse support payments faster during an emergency. Let's read that one again. And by the way, I'm not putting anybody down who I have respect for anybody who's out there working a second, third, or fourth job, okay? In all honesty, even if you are delivering Taco Bell to drunk kids on Saturday nights, rich drunk kids, right, who are living off their mommy and daddy's money. Anyway, I digress. I'm not putting you down. You work, I work. Right? I'm working right now. Anybody who's contributing, hats off. What did Loretta Mester just say? What did Loretta Mester say? I want to read that last part to you one more time. She also said that the payment service could help the federal government disperse support payments faster during emergencies. Oh, didn't we just talk about that? You need money. Oh, I got this. We have the solution for you. Here you go, guy. Oh, yeah, interesting. What do you think? Are your gears turning? I hope they are. Analysts say, the Fed, analyst say, the Fed, huh? Oh, Suzie just yelled at me thank you, Suzie. Sorry, guys. Quick break. We got 100 thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. Think positive thoughts when that bell rings, right? Thank you for the 100 thumbs up. Guys, if you're new here, please subscribe. It's free. We got great people like Coin Shop Chris, Buddy Rumble, the Louisiana Gold Guru, and Neil from Neil Hahn's Dynasty, the guy that knows more about platinum than anybody else on the planet, right? Hey, we're going to give you a new video every day. We're going to give you friendship. We're going to give you camaraderie. We're going to hang in there through any rough waters and smooth sailing in the precious metals arena, okay? Subscribe. It's free. It's free. It's free. Just like FedNow. It's all free. Free money because there's going to be an emergency, right? Analysts say FedNow could also, this is great, cut demand for payday loans. Another big benefit, right? As consumers won't have to wait for a check to clear. For businesses, there could also be an upside in paying suppliers on time, and businesses could embrace it at a less costly and more certain way. Okay, all right, let's cut to the chase. All right, look, if you're relying on payday loans to pay your bills, you're getting shafted. Okay, a payday loan is one of the worst financial decisions you can make. Okay, I know, I understand people get, if you're relying on payday loans, right, that's worse than living on credit cards. All right, so if for the Fed to say, oh, I mean, what are they saying about our economy? This is going to help gig workers, okay, people that are forced to go, drive Uber to make a little extra money or deliver Wendy's, those square burgers from Wendy's. I haven't had Wendy's in a while. It kind of sounds good. Anyway, on the weekend, right? But there's even a greater benefit for those of you that go to the pawn shop of the banking industry, payday loan places. I mean, come on, man. Are you serious? Are you really trying to sell us on this? What about gold and silver? What about comments? Let me see what's going on. Is anybody mad at me today? Matthew Bernard. Hello, Buddy Rumble. Hello, Marshmaz. Hello, Twitch Radio. Even as somebody who dedicated decades of life towards blockchain, my number one asset is silver and gold. Yes, Twitch Radio. Hey, guys, if you have any questions, okay, questions or something you want me to talk about, there's no more all caps. We're not doing that anymore. Put 5 question marks to start your comment. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, and that'll get my attention. I'll go back through at the end, and I'll see what your question is, what you want me to talk about. Yes, okay? Absolutely. All right, let's see if we missed anything. Silver and gold are going to do just fine in this new environment. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Why are silver and gold down this morning? Why? Look no further than the dollar index. Go into Google, type in DXY index, and you'll see the dollar has been up the last 2 days. Honestly, I don't know why the dollar's going up, right? Maybe people think the economy's doing great, the Fed's going to raise rates, whatever. But we're still playing this Mickey Mouse game of the DXY index goes up, silver and gold go down, the DXY goes down, silver and gold go up. Now, the DXY is at about 100 right now, 101, as we're recording this video. It's important to understand something critical about this DXY index. 2 critical things. Number 1, it compares the dollar to a bunch of other crappy currencies, right? The dollar, when it goes up, it's the best looking horse in the glue factory, whatever analogy you want to use, okay? The other big thing behind you, yes, Mark Razor, that is a Corvette behind me, okay? Anyway, the other big thing to remember regarding the dollar index, all right, is that we it was at 114, 115 not long ago. It's down to 100. Even at 100, if you look back over the last 35, 40 years, it hasn't been above 100 very much at all. So even though the dollar has come down, right, when you look at it on a historic perspective, longer term, the dollar could go down quite a bit. And the other big key thing to remember is as we're comparing these currencies to each other, oh, the dollar got stronger against the euro, the dollar got stronger against the yen, the DXY index is up because Jerome's going to raise rate. All of that, you have to consider that within the context, right? Within the context of the fact that those are all a bunch of crappy currencies. They don't compare it to the rest of the world, just to the other crap ball currencies, and they're all going down, right? They're all printing. So think about it. This is critical for you to understand when it comes to if you're a silver and gold investor, okay. You got a bunch. Let's just say the whole world was just dollars and euros, right? Okay, and if they print 50% more dollars and they print 50% more euros, they made them both less powerful. But since they both created 50% more, kind of like happened during that little health crisis we had a few years back, relative to each other, they remain about the same. But they're less powerful, and there's only so much gold, only so much silver. That, my friends, is a big, big fact. Let's go talk about some interesting comments I got from you guys lately. I printed up a couple of these, or saved them, I should say. I want to address a couple interesting. This one's from our friend Jason Rich. He says, I have a few stacks of old fiat currencies from around the world in a display right across from the toilet. Reads old money, but worth less than toilet paper. Someday people will pay attention. Okay, that was a funny one. Hold on here. I got a good one for you. This one's from Leon Wangels from 4 days ago. This is a comment on one of the videos. Stacking silver has made me poorer, he says. This guy says stacking silver has made him poorer. When you buy silver at retail price and sell it the next minute, you lose 25% immediately. If I had used my 12 monster boxes I bought 8 years ago to buy a house, my rental and appreciation would be so much more. Yes, I regret buying silver. Again, that's from Leon, one of our viewers. I got a couple things to say about that. First, if you're buying silver or gold for that matter, that you likely will need to sell immediately, yes, you're being very, very foolish, right? Because that's called the spread, the difference between where the coin shop or bullion dealer will sell it to you, which is a little bit higher than what they'll buy it back from you for. Because coin shops and bullion dealers, they are not charitable businesses. They want to make a profit like any business. So, hey, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Wow, buddy, Rumble of all people. Thank you. Super generous, not expected, always appreciated. Thank you. So you don't ever want to buy silver or gold that you think it's likely that you're going to have to sell back immediately, because yes, you're going to get killed. You're going to get killed on that spread. 25%, I don't agree with, right? I think when I look at my local coin shop, the difference between what they buy and sell at on most of the products is closer to 10%, but nonetheless, you don't want to deal with that. The other thing I'll say is, if you bought 12 monster boxes in one fell swoop, that's not a smart way to buy, right? I always recommend dollar cost averaging in. So yeah, you know what? Let's say you and I, right? You, right? Yes, you watching right now. Let's say we have enough money to buy 10 monster boxes. I mean, God, what is that? 150,000? And we buy it today. We buy it all today with silver at whatever, $24.63. Hey, look, a year from now, we're either going to be a genius or a dummy, okay? But instead, if we timed out, thank you, Mark, for the super chat. Thank you, my friend. If we time it out over a period of time, right, dollar cost average in, you're likely, right, you're going to catch some highs, you're going to catch some lows. Over time, you're going to do well. So, I appreciate everybody's comments. I didn't really think that one was was all that. I wanted to point out that's not the best way. All right, numismatic stacker, our friend numismatic stacker. Oh my gosh, buddy! I really appreciate the super chats, guys. Buddy, you guys. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Numismatic stacker points out this interesting fact: gold is 6 times more above ground than silver. Let that sink in. I read all your comments, okay? And I'll pick a few to talk about. That one gets me excited. Honestly, I didn't know this a couple weeks ago. I didn't realize that there's 6 times more gold above ground than silver. Did you know that? Okay, I've heard different numbers. I had an article from 2017 that said there's basically twice as much gold above ground as opposed to silver. I don't care where it is in the middle, right? And maybe because of all these silver deficits lately, maybe that's why. How can there be more gold above ground than silver? Gold is underpriced. We've established that, but there's more gold above ground than silver. But gold costs 80 to 85 times more than silver? I mean, somebody help me out with that one. That does not make sense. I'm going to go look at the comments. Is there anything? Buddy, thank you again for the super chat. All right. Hold on here. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Uh-oh. 153. Can we get to 200 thumbs up? Good morning, Susie's on. Hello, Suzie. Everybody please say hi to Suzie. You can say thank you to Buddy, Coin Shop Chris, and our good friend Neil from Neil Hahn's Dynasty. The DXY is up because South Africa stated BRICS currency is not on the agenda for the August meeting. Thank you, Original Intent, for sharing that. You know, now that we're on that subject, guys, I had another article. You know, there was all this hoopla. And I'm probably guilty of it as well, right? The Russian media said, basically, we're going to have a gold-backed currency. So now we're getting news. Apparently, South Africa said it's not on the table. Let me tell you, let me read this to you. This is about that gold-backed currency, central bank currency. This one says here, this came from Watcher Guru. This says, Russia's central bank governor says BRICS currency needs more work. Really? We thought this was like a done deal, right? Says the governor of Russia's central bank mentioned that the BRICS currency needs the consent of many stakeholders to move forward. While she said that the currency, quote unquote, deserves attention, it also, quote unquote, requires the consent of many parties. She added that creating a new currency for global trade, quote, will be quite difficult to implement. We thought this was a done deal. Her name's Nabliolina, said that creating a new currency for international transactions, quote, is not a simple project at all. Not just launching the currency, the basic payment infrastructure. Well, we have an idea for them. They need a payment infrastructure. I'm sure the Fed would be happy to help them out. They can use FedNow to support global transactions is yet to be put into place. Her comments come on the heels of Russia and China convincing other countries to ditch the U.S. dollar even before the formation of the BRICS currency. Russia and China are on a power prowl for global dominance and are desperate in their attempts to dethrone the U.S. dollar. I don't know, guys. What do you think about this, right? We're getting mixed messages now regarding this gold-backed currency, this new trade currency, right? We know that there is a massive de-dollarization trend, regardless of what happens in August. We know the BRICS countries. We know those Eastern countries. We know China, India, Russia, right? Saudi Arabia, that they're wanting to move away from the U.S. dollar. Okay? CBDC, Richard Cooper says, programmable control, potential to stop you buying outside your neighborhood. Yeah, and that's the big fear with CBDCs, guys, is the control, right? Will the government be able to dictate to you where and how you spend your money, right? Like, here's some money we put into your account, but you can only use it at grocery stores within a 5-mile radius of your house, and you can only use it to buy certain things. Now, look, I'm not saying that that's absolutely going to be the case, but that's the big fear. That's what people right now are concerned about. We know the Fed wants to control the world's money, right? And they've done a pretty effective job up until recently of doing that. But they want to control your money possibly as well. And don't forget, the Fed is not our friend, unfortunately. Has the Fed been your friend? If you're like me, you're likely part of the middle class, right? I tell you what, if you think you're part of the middle class, put a 5 in the comments and I'll read your name, right? 5, right in the middle between 0 and 10. I'm a 5. I consider myself middle class. Let me know if you're a 5. Wow, look at all this. Man, you guys are unbelievable. Thank you, buddy. Hey, Brian Stillhair's a 5. Gerald Draper's a 5. Paul K's a 5. Leaf Johnson's a 5. Andrew McKelvin's a 5. Coinshop Chris, our good friend, is a 5. Low blood pressure's a 4.5. Victoria Hunt is a 5. Subaru Karma's a 5. Two cross a 5. Low class 420 stacker. That's funny. Hawaii Brian's a 5. Sean Cornish is a 5. Richard Wizardry is a 5. Matthew Bernard's a 5. Todd Pauly's a little bit better off than a lot of us. He's a 6. Marshmaz is a 5. To Cross is a 5. Oh my gosh, look at you guys. Bleed Freedom's a 5. Marcus Toma's a 5. High 5, Stephen Chichini. BCC's a 1.2. Ingamar is a 5. Lance Compton's a 5. Roger Yao's a 5. A 5 that feels like a 2. I understand that, my friend. That's funny. Robin Hood. Hey, what's happening, Rudologic? Into the Reflections, a 4.5. Mark Razor's a 7. We want to be nice to Mark, right? He might have a big stack. Fast Landing's a 2. I own land and a house. Does that count? Yes, that counts. Own a house, but I don't spend much. Dollar going down. We'll be backing the new currency. True Silver. The true gold to silver ratio is 2 to 1. Thank you. That's I've heard the data stated in many different ways, right? I've heard there's twice as much gold as silver. I've heard there's 6 times as much above ground gold as silver. I don't know. We'll see. Buddy Rumble, the dollar is going down. I don't know if you mean right now as we're talking or in general, right? I mean, come on. I'm going to say it one more time, guys. 33 trillion in debt. We're running deficits. We're spending more than we bring in. And on top of that, the interest rate on the debt is going up, which makes the deficit go up, which makes the debt go up, which just feeds. See how the cycle goes? Then there's even more debt, which means even more deficit because there's even more interest. It just goes and goes. We can thank our politicians for that, huh? I gave Ron a thumbs up and he giggled. What? Hey, we only have 20 more. We can get to 200. Come on, guys. We can do it. If you haven't, press that thumbs up button. It sure would be appreciated. It sure would be appreciated. I appreciate you guys all being here today. This is interesting waters in which we are sailing. You know, next week is the big news from the Fed. Are they going to raise rates? Are they going to raise rates? Everybody thinks they're going to raise rates. The gold and silver price, it's already priced in a 0.25% rate increase. Wednesday afternoon, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we'll get the decision from the Federal Reserve regarding interest rates. It could make the metals move. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If you want to know what's going to happen, they're going to raise rates by a quarter, and they're going to be right in the middle. They're not going to surprise by communicating that they're going to be more hawkish, but they're also not going to surprise by communicating they're going to be more dovish. I think it's going to be a dead middle of the road. I don't think gold and silver will react immediately. Okay, it could. Look, don't make any financial decisions based on this. But Once that sinks in for a couple of days, that people realize, oh, the Fed just did exactly what we expected. They didn't want to sound hawkish. They didn't want to sound dovish. After a couple of days, as that sinks in, people are going to realize they're scared. And we're going to see gold and silver continue to move forward. I wouldn't be surprised 1 week from today, next Friday, if we have gold approaching $2,000. I could be dead wrong. We could be fighting for 1900 or 1860 for that matter. But that's what I see playing out. Hey guys, we only need 3 more thumbs up. Come on, man. We can do it. We can do it. Let's go to the comments. Let's see what's going on here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I can't move. Oh, there we go. There we go. Cowbell! It's almost cowbell time. Gold at 2,000 would be awesome. Hey, let me ask you guys. Uh-oh. Probably one of the only things more annoying than having to listen to me talk is listen to that cowbell. Thank you for the 200 thumbs up. Thank you for your subscribing. Let me ask you a question. Yes, well, let's put it this way. Where do you think gold will be next Friday right now when we're talking? Will gold be above 2,000 or will gold be fighting for 1,900? I'm curious. What's your feeling? Lower, says low blood pressure. Yeah, let's go. I'm behind, down 5, says MC. What do you see next Friday with the gold price? Okay, and we know CoinShop Chris is saying 20, 21, Marshmass 6,000. Oh man, who knows? No change. Lower, says 420 Stacker. 1950, says Matthew Bernard. Lower, flat, above 1999. Richard Cooper, our good friend in the United Kingdom. Yes. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Somebody asked about this Corvette. Yeah, that's my daughter's Barbie Corvette, and I need to move this, right? Our dollar toilet paper, I wanted to move that over there so we could see that better. Down, says Paul K. A little over 2,000, about the same. It'll be down $10, says Brian. Wow, interesting. Very interesting. One thing for sure, we're going to find out. I'm going to be here for you, okay? Thanks for joining me today, guys. Appreciate your support. Appreciate the super chats. Always appreciated. Never expected. Take care of yourself, and I'm going to see you next time.